Hey everyone, Andrew here, bringing you another video. Today we're going to be doing something a little different, but very similar to what we've done before. If you guys seen the title of the video up top there, you probably already know what I'm going to be talking about, but at least allow me a little bit of an introduction. I like to do top tens of my favorite of whatever, and I like to do stuff that I enjoy rather than stuff that I think are the best. Because when you do a video or a list of the top 10 best video games of all time, there's going to be arguments and people are going to have disagree. And it all comes down to opinion. But if you do your top 10 favorite video games of all time, no one can dispute that. That's your own personal list. That's what you hold near and dear. So a while back, I did a 10 video long list of my top 10 favorite heroes of all time. And at the time, I felt very proud of that list. But looking back on it now, I really want to redo that list and give you guys a refined, more definitive list for a couple reasons. One is that I don't think I was completely honest with myself and with you guys with that list. There was a lot of things in there that I wanted to change, and I don't know why I put people where I did. Second of all, is I had a three-way tie at the end, and I don't even think I was very honest with that. I should have been a little bit more critical, and I don't think I should have a tie. There should be no ties. This is a definitive top 10 list. In addition to that, I want this to be a little bit more personal and more of a discussion to you guys about what these heroes mean to me. Because in life, there's a lot of things that people will be drawn or attracted to that's going to inspire them, whether it be mentors, their family, whether it be sports idols or political figures or whatever, people that inspire them in some way, shape, or form. And for me, as silly as it may sound, fictional heroes do that for me. Fictional heroes have always, I don't know, inspired me or changed me or make me want to thrive and become better than what I am in different ways and different forms. And I've always grown attached to them because, well, villains are always more interesting in the sense that, they have so much complexities to them, why they're doing what they're doing. Heroes, I feel, are, for me at least personally, things that you can be drawn to a lot more and things that you can fall in love with a lot more. And I've always loved heroes. I've always loved heroes more than the villains, and that's what kind of draws me to characters. For example, a lot of people will be like, well, it's the Batman villains like Joker, Two-Face, all the uniqueness I love about the comic. But no, for the comic, it's Batman. That's why I love the comic. All the other stuff is great, but that's the draw. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to give you guys my top 10 definitive, as of right now, superheroes or heroes in general of all time. And they have to be fictional heroes. I can't have a real life hero on there because that's not what this video is about. Not to say that I'm not inspired by people that are real life. Of course I am. But the fictional heroes, I feel as though built me as a person a lot more. So not only will I do my definitive top 10 heroes, but I'm also give you guys what I like about them and also what they have done to me or how they have inspired me as an individual. In 9 out of the 10 of these heroes, I'm going to have at least something that inspired me, or somehow they inspired me. Number 10, I'm not, because number 10 I just like because I like them. It's not particularly because they've inspired me in any sense, but everyone afterwards has, in some way, shape, or form, inspired me and has helped build who I am. And again, that sounds very silly, but that's that's just how it is. And yes, I am wearing a rock paper scissors lizard Spock shirt. Got that today. It was pretty awesome. So I'm gonna do that video now, and this is again gonna be very informal, but this is gonna be, again, sounds silly, but kind of from the heart because these people, fictional people, have affected my life so much. And the reason why is because I've had a renewed interest in one of them. I didn't realize till now how much that particular fictional individual has affected me, my childhood, my the foundation of who I am, I look back on it now and I'm astounded by it. But we'll get to that individual when I get to that individual. They're not number one. And some of this list may be predictable. Some of these people are recurring characters from the last list. And I'm sure you guys all know who number one is. There's going to be no surprise who number one is going to be. But we'll get to them when we get to them. I'm still going to talk about them because they're still very important to my heart. So, without any further ado, and without spending 5 more minutes of your time giving you guys this introduction, let's get into it. Today, I'm going to do my definitive top 10 countdown of my favorite champions, heroes, and protectors of all time. Coming in at number 10 would be Leon S. Kennedy from Resident Evil, the video game series. And just to give you guys a visual for those of you that don't know who Leon is, there he is right there. I'll use little visuals throughout this video to kind of give you guys at least kind of an image of the people. I can't really post pictures because I think that breaks copyright rules, blah, blah, blah. But Leon S. Kennedy, who is my favorite Resident Evil character, the only character I love more than Wesker himself. Leon's probably the only character on this list that hasn't necessarily inspired me or built me as an individual. Maybe his fashion sense. I mean, this guy really has really good fashion sense. He really knows how to wear a coat. But I mean, besides that, Leon is just a complete, utter badass. And what I really particularly love for him, in comparison to everyone else that's going to be on the list, is Leon's had the most growth. The character started off as a very green, rookie cop going to the city of Raccoon. And then throughout the years, from Resident Evil 2 to Veronica to Resident Evil 4 to the movies, Degeneration, and then Damnation, and then into Resident Evil 6, Leon's had kind of a nice arc of growth. He's gone from this very green rookie cop to this Secret Service agent to this downright badass hero who has a lot of weight of the world on his shoulders. This is a guy that said right off the bat said, I'm giving up love. I'm giving up that, white picket fence family and all that kind of stuff. Although he still has those feelings for Ada. He's kind of just said, I am giving all of myself to scrub this virus away from the world. Leon's also, like I said, a complete badass. He's an awesome fighter. He has a great look to him. And somehow Capcom just makes that little boy hair work. Like a borderline Justin Bieber hair work. And he's the main protagonist in one of my favorite video games of all time, being Resident Evil 4. If I ever made a top 10 list of favorite video games, Resident Evil 4 would be on top of this. My favorite Resident Evil game. Just such a fantastic game and a must-have for any gamer. But Leon is number 10 on the list. So moving on to number 9. Oh, there we go. Number 9 would be Number 9, Angel from Buffy the Vampire Slayer in the Angel TV series, as well as the comics and the slew of spin-offs that they've had in the comic universe. I don't have the DVD to show you because that's packed away ever since I moved. All my DVDs are just packed away, so I'm not going to go fishing around for them. But I do have my action figure ready to go. So Angel, yeah. Angel was actually one of the ties for number 1 a long time ago. But again, that shows how much time can change. In addition to that, that shows that I don't think I was 100% honest with myself or with you guys in the actual video itself. Now, that doesn't take away how much I still love Angel as a character. Angel is pound for pound one of my favorite TV shows of all time. And the character, although a lot of people are attracted to Willow or Buffy or Spike more, as popular characters, I always found Angel the most intriguing character because Angel does a lot of what he does out of redemption, but I think Angel also does a lot of what he does because he has that strong sense of justice. The character has a great look to him, and in addition to that, he's a total stud throughout the whole entire show, just kicking ass and taking names left and right. Some of the best fight scenes are him in there, and always having to deal with that turmoil of good versus evil. Now, when it comes down to what I've taken from Angel as a character, is that sense of duty. Is that Angel is this character, that redemption aspect, that, needing to better himself continuously and kind of going up that mountain which has no end. And that's kind of a sense of duty that I've applied onto myself. Again, maybe not as inspirational as some of the other characters that will be higher up on the list, but definitely a character that has impacted my life. There is no doubt about that. I mean, I wear button-down shirts because he did. But in all honesty, Angel is a character that really has a strong moral compass, despite the fact that when he had no soul, he was one of the most heinous individuals in the world. He's always kind of kept a level head too. I think that's something that I've tried to apply onto myself, but I also get that from other heroes. But like I said, that sense of duty, that sense of having to continuously grow and continuously fight that war, that never-ending war that there is no end to. That's why I call it never ending. I think that's one of the reasons why I like Angel. But other than that, I think that the episodes, the shows that he has been in, the comics that he's been in, the character that's just had so much growth, going from basically a boyfriend figure to a full-fledged character, and the character with a wide range of emotions that may not necessarily come out at first, but I mean, he can be happy, he can be angry, he can be tormented, he can be overjoyed, and really the character had a lot to him. And David Boreanaz put a lot into that character too. And I think the other thing that makes Angel such an appealing character is he's willing to make those hard decisions. That's another thing that I like to think that I've kind of taken from him is making the hard decisions is hard. That's why they call it making it the hard decisions. And Angel's always willing to make those hard decisions. He's willing to bear that burden on his shoulders if it means saving the world, if it means saving a life. That's something that you definitely have to hold to some kind of high esteem with the character. So Angel is my number 9 pick for my favorite superheroes or heroes in general of all time. Coming in at number 8 would be Number 8 would be none other than Dick Grayson, aka Nightwing. I'm just taking the most recent issue as a certain visual aid for you guys. Dick Grayson, Robin number 1, Nightwing number 1, and Batman number 3. Uh, Boy, I love Dick Grayson to death. And it's because of the character that's really grown with me, and that kind of goes into what I have taken from Dick Grayson and how he's inspired or built me. There's been a lot of Robins, and most of the time people say that they've grown up with Tim Drake as their Robin. At least anyone that I want to say is anyone that's under probably 35 years old will say that their Robin is undoubtedly Tim Drake, is what they've grown up with. Most people disregard Jason Todd as their Robin because he was Robin only for a couple of years. But I've always considered Dick Grayson my Robin. And even though he became Nightwing before I was born in 87, he became Nightwing before 87, I still consider him the Robin I grew up with. Through the movies, the animated series, and through reading older comics, because I was big into reading older comics from the Silver and Bronze Age, when he was Robin. And then watching his progression as a avid comic reader, from going to Robin to going to the Teen Titans to becoming Nightwing, from being Nightwing to becoming Batman, and then having it come full circle again, is a tremendous amount of growth. And that's something that I've kind of dealt with or done with Dick Grayson. When I was younger, when I was a kid, Dick Grayson was Robin to me. I always pictured him as Robin, but when I became a teenager into my early 20s, and when I mean early 20s, I mean up to like 22, he was Nightwing, and we had a lot of the same kind of thought patterns. We made a lot of the same mistakes, and we had a lot of the same kind of feuds going on in our lives, particularly with maybe some parental figures. And then as I grow older, Nightwing became Batman. And again, it was like that step into adulthood, the true step into adulthood, which is something that I've had to take. And then he's Nightwing again, and God knows what he's going to be after Forever Evil. But the fact of the matter remains, and boy, if people watch this 2 years from now, they're going to be like, "Wow, this video is dated. He's talking about Forever Evil like it's not done yet." But despite whatever happens to Dick Grayson, I've grown with him. And I think a lot of how he grew is affected how I've grown. And another thing that Dick Grayson does that I try to take away from things is the ability to move on, if that makes sense. Take Batman and Dick Grayson as a comparison. Batman is so haunted by his parents' death that he allows it to consume him every waking day. He cannot move on from it. Dick Grayson's ability to move on from his parents' death allows him to grow and thrive. Bruce sets a clock to the hour and minute of his parents' death, and he goes to visit their grave like every day. Dick almost never visits his parents' graves, and he doesn't think about the hour of their death. Now, that doesn't mean Dick just loves his parents any less than Bruce. It's just he has a different way of coping with things and a different way for moving on with things. And I like to think that's similar with that. And one of the most candid ways I can say that is recently my grandmother passed away. She passed away maybe, oh God, a year or two ago. It was the day it wasn't the day. It was she got sick. She had a stroke when the day after my wife and I got engaged, and then she passed away a few short months afterwards. And I really loved my grandmother. My grandmother was very close to me. She helped raise me along with my mother and my father. And towards the end of her life, the last few years of her life, she was in an assisted living complex. I would go to visit her every week without fail. On Friday, after school, I would go visit her without a doubt. I'd sit with her and she would tell me things and we would talk and get advice from her and it really tightened the relationship and bond with her. But after my grandmother passed away, I moved on and I dealt with it a lot differently than other people in my family because I was happy with my grandmother in her life and the stuff that she's done. And I think a lot of the coping also came with the fact that I talked with her so much and I got to see her so much towards the end of her life. But I think my ability to move on to this stuff is a good example of what Dick Grayson can do. His ability to move on, still realize how much he loves these people and have them be in his life always. My grandmother will always be with me. Whether it's in here, whether it's in here, whether it's up there, she will always be with me. And I don't feel as though I need to go to a grave in order to symbolize that. If I ever need her assistance, I can always just, bring up her memory. And I think the ability to cope like that is a fantastic ability that Nightwing has. Um, Moving on from how the character has built me, Nightwing's just fucking badass. And I'm gonna say that about a lot of the people, but the costume design is awesome. Um, the growth of the character is awesome. The dialogue is awesome. The wittiness, and love to say that Dick Grayson is the heart and soul of the DCU. He's always in some kind of team. He's always willing to team up, and he's always got a bright personality on him. The character is also awesome when he fights because his fighting style is so much more unique. It's very acrobatic like, and that's really cool. And whenever he teams up with Batman, is brings back so many memories because they're my dynamic duo. All the other Robins are nice and good, but they're my dynamic duo. So yeah, number 8 is Dick Grayson, um, and one of my favorite comic book characters of all time. Uh, I don't know which I like better, the red or the blue costume, but it's Nightwing. And I hope whatever happens with Forever Evil, Nightwing's still alive. He might become something else, but eventually he'll always be Nightwing to me. So, that said, let's move on to number 7. We're getting up there. Number 7 is Dinobot from Beast Wars. Now, Dinobot, and my visual aid will be Dinobot's figure. Dinobot is my favorite Transformer of all time. And if there's something that I can say I've gotten from Dinobot, it is a sense or code of honor. And honor is always a very important thing in my life because karate first instilled those seeds of discipline, honor, respect into me. But Dinobot's sense of honor is something that I grew and I was attracted to a lot. This is a character whose moral compass is based off all that honor, is based off doing the right thing and being fair and, winning things the respectable way. Whether you're a good guy or a bad guy, there's got to be a sense of honor. And particular points of this is when he's fighting Optimus Primal for the first time and he knocks Optimus Primal to blinds him, I think, with his lasers, and Optimus Primal falls, and Dinobot's about to finish him, and then he picks him up and he throws him off, and Optimus Primal says, "What's with you? You you won. You had me beat." Dinobot said, to defeat you in such a way would have been you tripped, you slipped. To defeat you in such a way would have been lacking in honor. I would not have earned the right to win and the right to lead. And then he goes on and says, anyways, I prefer to defeat my opponents the old-fashioned way, brutally, which is one of the best quotes there is. But Dinobot has an incredible sense of honor and duty, and that's another thing. Duty comes up, and being honest, being true, being respectful, and I think that's something that I'd like to incorporate in myself in everything I do. So I'm always honest, never lie, always do the fair and right thing, never cheat, never do wrong, and to do things with absolute honor. People, if you give your word to people, you keep that word 100%. And that's something that Dinobot has instilled in me. Go figure, a robotic velociraptor taught me the sense of honor. That shows you how strong the character is. But besides that, the things that I love about the character is, other than the fact that he has a strong sense of honor, the character is just cool looking. The figure really doesn't do him as much justice as it should. I mean, this is the best you're going to get from 1993 or 1996 is when it came out. But Dinobot had a really cool design from him, and he also utilized swords. And if you're going to find something on everyone on my list, somehow uses sword. He has a really cool serrated spinning sword. And really, Dinobot had some of the best arcs, best story arc in the Beast Wars TV show, and without a doubt, the best death in all of fiction for me personally. And just to give you guys, not to spoil too much, if you have not watched Beast Wars, go watch it. If there's one episode that you watch Code of Hero, which is Dinobot's final episode before he dies, and it's just such a great episode because there's so many great one-liners just to show you how this guy never gives up. Not only does he fight all the Predacons, but he defeats all the Predacons. And at the very beginning, he sees. Let me paint you a picture, not to spoil too much, but in Beast Wars is set in the past in prehistoric time. Time travel happens, and the bad guy Megatron, Beast Wars Megatron, finds the Cradle of Life. He finds where the proto-humans are come from, where the human race evolves from. He basically sends everyone to kill everything, and Dinobot's the only maximal or good guy on hand, and he sees this and he tells everyone, he goes, "Hey guys, you better get your shit together because the humans are going to die." And after that, Optimus Primal says, "Well, that's fine. We'll be right there. Stay back. Stay out of trouble." And Dinobot says, "Negative. The question that has long been haunting my existence has finally been answered. The future is not said. My choices are my own. And how ironic now I stand here with no choice at all. I am a warrior," and he whips out his sword. "I am a warrior. May the battle be joined." And he slices through all the Predacons, and he's getting damaged, and he's falling apart. And throughout the whole entire thing, his computer's telling him, "Extreme loss of power. You will die. Go into stasis lock." And he's all his weapons are destroyed. And one of the Predacons says, "So what's a warrior without any weapons?" And he says, "A warrior still." And he beats him up with his bare hands. And then he fights Megatron. And with his last ounce of energy, he destroys the golden disc, which basically can tell how the future pans out. Destroys that, and one of the most greatest cinematic scenes, you see him falling to the ground, and almost like a solar system, the disc is shattering in the air, and he falls. And with his last words, he says to the Maximals when they come, he saved the cradle, and he said, "Tell my tale to those who ask it. and tell it truly, ill deeds along with the good, so that I may be judged accordingly. The rest is silence. And he dies, and it's the best death scene in all of fictional media for me. So it's definitely a fantastic scene and a fantastic character. And if you get a chance, learn about this character and figure out exactly who he is and watch Beast Wars. Because Beast Wars, despite how old it is far from dated, and the storytelling is some of the best storytelling that you are going to get from any show. The first few episodes are a little shaky, but after you get through that hump of having to introduce everyone in their Beast Wars name, it is a fantastic drama. So watch it. Moving on to number 6 on my top 10 countdown would be. I apologize, I don't have a visual aid for number 6, but this individual needs no visual aid because it is none other than Captain Jean-Luc Picard of the USS Enterprise NCC 1701D and NCC 1701E. I love Star Trek, and my favorite character from Star Trek is without a doubt Captain Picard. You know, that Weird Al song where he goes, "The only question I ever thought was hard is, do I like Kirk or do I like Picard?" No, it's Picard. Picard's the best. But what I taken from Picard as a character, how it's Picard influenced my life, is he's taught me what it means to be a leader. Now, a leader, that's a role that I often fill and a role that I'm often comfortable with in a position that I'm often put into, whether it's with my friends or whether it was at school or whether it was in karate or whether it's at work. I've always kind of fell into that leader position. Now, this is in no way me trying to say that I'm better than other people or me saying trying to show off my ego. That's not. Every member of the team is very important. That's something that I've learned throughout my life. You cannot survive without each and every single member of the team. The leader is no more important than everyone else. But I've often found that in those situations, I've often had to take that role of leader. And I don't want to, I'll say that I'll feel comfortable. I feel comfortable standing up and taking that role, making those tough decisions. And part of that is because of how I've seen Jean-Luc Picard do it. This is a very cultured man, a very intelligent man, a very wise man who's kind of taken a step in the in taken steps in the right direction to make these tough calls, to make these tough decisions when dealing with an alien race for the first time, with defending his world and his people, when being in diplomatical missions. I mean, Jean-Luc Picard is the very definition of a leader. And he keeps a calm head throughout of it. And he thinks fast, he thinks on his feet, and he weighs every decision. And that's what I've kind of taken from Jean-Luc Picard, is what it means to be a leader, because it's not an easy thing. Everyone is important in the team, but the leader is probably one of the hardest positions to be in. It's a position a lot of people don't like to be in either. But Picard has kind of taught me what it means to be in that position. And I love it. I love what he has taught me and how he's influenced me. It's just great. So uh, that is what Picard has given me. As a character, dude, do I even need to get into it? It's Captain Jean-Luc Picard. Cultured, well acted by Sir Patrick Stewart. Has some of the best episodes in all of Star Trek centered around him. He's a captain also that takes the limelight, but not takes all of it. Gives it to the other characters too. My favorite Captain Jean-Luc Picard episode is also my favorite Star Trek episode, which is Darmok, which is where he and another alien captain are on a planet and they have to learn how to communicate with each other. It's just a fantastic episode. Actually, a lot of my favorite episodes are of Captain Picard. But the characters, I really do like that he has that sophisticatedness and there's that culture to him and that very sternness to him at the same time. He's a man that's very married to his work, and I find that to be another layer of the unique complexity that is Picard. And other than that, he's a fantastic leader. And despite how good or bad a movie or show may be, when Patrick Stewart in it, it fucking kicks ass. Plain and flat and simple. One of my favorite actors of all time. He really rocked that role, and he really made Picard such an icon. Such an icon. And geez, Patrick Stewart does not age one bit. Geez, everyone else on Star Trek looks like they at least gained another 40 years. Not Patrick Stewart. He still looks as young as he's always been. But yeah, I love Picard. I really do. One of the best characters ever made in fictional media, but also one of my favorite heroes of all time. And a man who's taught me how to be a leader. Coming in at number 5. Number 5 goes to none other than the Jedi Master himself, Luke Skywalker from Star Wars. And I show the Timothy Zahn novel Vision of the Future because those are my favorite Star Wars stories. My favorite Star Wars movie is Return of the Jedi, but I like Timothy Zahn's stuff just a little bit more. Actually, that's tough. I'm not getting into debate about that. Talking about Luke Skywalker, the Jedi Master, my favorite Star Wars character. Now, there's a lot of things that I've taken from Luke. One could say it's to grow, similar to what I've taken from um, Dick Grayson. But I think what I've learned the most from Luke Skywalker is how to learn, how to keep an open mind. Luke Skywalker, and this is seen more so in the books than in the movies, but Luke Skywalker is a character that is very open minded and a character that is willing to try new things and a character that's willing to grow and willing to take those hard steps to grow. And that's something that I've kind of had to learn in myself is learn how to grow as a person, as an individual, and to go through those growing pains. Because there's one thing that's absolute in life that not you and not me can avoid. It's that you're going to grow, you're going to change, you're going to get old, you can get wiser, and you're going to change in your life in many different ways. I've already kind of said that. But Luke Skywalker kind of teaches me on that, is that you can go from being that naive person and then turn into this disciplined, wise individual. And I think that's a great trait to have. And that's something Luke Skywalker has taught me, is to have that discipline to grow and grow with grace and to learn from your mistakes and to become a better person because you're going to make mistakes in life. There is no denying that. None. And the ability to grow and learn from the mistakes are a very important thing. And another thing I learned from Luke Skywalker is to make friends out of enemies and to never give up on someone. It's so easy to give up on friends, and it's so easy to turn the other cheek when it comes, or turn a blind eye to a friend that's in need, or a friend that you felt that has done you wrong. And it's hard. It really is. I've throughout my life gone through different friend groups. I've always had friend groups. And in one particular friend group, there was a big schism, for lack of a better term. There was probably 6 of us. I'm not going to go over the math on how many because we've had couple of substitute people come in. And there's 3 friends in particular, or let's take 4 friends. I'm going to take 4 friends from that group in particular. That from the schism, the relationships I've had with them had changed. One of which we've had some unspoken negativity towards each other that time eventually healed and we've learned to put behind each other. Although it's never spoken, it's kind of been put behind, and that's how our relationship works. And then there's another friend that I have that we had a big falling out and we don't talk at all to each other anymore. And there's a second friend that's very similar. We had a huge falling out, and it was over such a silly thing that's no longer part of their life. It was something in their life, and again, we don't talk anymore. And then this last friend from this group, and I know I'm getting kind of confusing, who went through a hard, troubling part of their life that's still going through it. That's involved the laws, involved um, some illegal substance, that involved a lot of bad decisions. But through all that, I still support him as a friend. So it's kind of interesting to see how this goes through. One friend, time has healed all. Another friend who's been going through all these bad choices, I've stuck by because I can't give up on a friend. But on the same end, I have two friends over here who I don't talk to anymore. And I like to think that if ever I came across them again, or ever opportunity presented itself, that I would try to mend those bridges and hopefully find that middle ground that you can find with your friends and fix things. Um, I think one of them is too far in a different direction in their life than I am. I'm not going to go into that, and I'm keeping these names out of there just in case, because I'm sure they don't want their names out. But another friend, if I did encounter them again, I like to think that we could mend those bridges that have been burned. So that's something that Luke Skywalker, I think, has given me to a degree or to a point, is to make friends out of enemies and not to give up on our friends. I will not give up on my friends ever, and that's something that he's taught me. Moving on from what he has done to inspire me, what is awesome about Luke? Well, first of all, like I said, Luke is a character that's grown. He goes from this naive green farm boy to this Jedi master, and you see that a lot in the books too. He's the best Jedi. There is no way around it. You Star Killer, Sith Lord lovers, Vader, Cravers. Luke Skywalker is the greatest Jedi of all. He shits better Force powers than Yoda could even fathom, and he's the greatest Jedi lightsaber dueler of all time too. But Luke Skywalker has a great look to him. He has great character, personality to him. Very calm, very open character. And even when he's getting shit on by Mara Jade, he still kind of, says, "Hey, let's be friends. Let's not shit on each other." Just to show you guys, when a girl's shitting on you and you learn to be her friend first, then she'll marry you. That's what happened with Luke. He got shit on a lot by Mara Jade. She did not like him. And then lo and behold, she marries him. But Luke Skywalker has just a great look to him too, with the black and the black glove and the green lightsaber. I'm talking more Return of the Jedi, but he's kind of kept that look throughout the expanded universe too. Um, yeah, I think the thing is Luke is such a calm, powerful, awesome guy, and he's really kind of like a martial artist. He's a Jedi master. He's a martial arts master. So really kind of a cool thing about him. So I love everything that is Luke. All the interesting stuff that went on with Star Wars for me personally centered around Luke, especially the arc that dealt with him and his father and growing and moving past that. He he saved his father not by fighting him in a lightsaber duel. I'm looking at you, Obi-Wan and Anakin and Yoda. Lightsabers don't solve everything. He used the power of the love. And it sounds silly, but he used the power of love to save his father. Damn, that's good. So, yeah, Luke Skywalker, number one. Not number one, number five on my list of my favorite heroes of all time. We're getting down there. We're getting down there. Now we're going to go into number four, my favorite heroes of all time. Number four on my list is none other than Tyrannosaurus! Jason, the red Mighty Morphin Power Ranger, and the gold Zeo Ranger. Or the gold Triform Ranger, however you want to say it. Yeah, Jason. That's a character that had kind of a resurgence in my life, and there's kind of a Jason display back there. All those figures you see up here are Jason figures. Jason, Jason, Jason. Jason is one of the earliest heroes for me. Along with Batman, Jason kind of came in my early development of my life. He came in when I was 6 years old, 6 years old. Yeah, 6 years old. 1993, I was in first grade. And when he came in, automatically the character was just such an attractive character. The character just drew you in. And I'll get into why in a bit later, but what Jason has done for me, and I'm sorry, I'm just fiddling with my morpho. What Jason has done for me is he inspired me to become the martial artist that I am. There is no denying that I was going to become um, a martial artist. There's no denying that I was going to take karate, but Jason basically gave me that adrenaline shot, that boost to get into karate. And I can't thank him enough for that. 20 years later, I'm a fourth degree black belt, and karate is the most important thing or activity that I do. I mean, outside your loved ones and the individuals that are close to you. Outside all that, I mean, karate is who I am. When I was telling my wife today when we were walking in Faneuil Hall, I said, "What are the things you take the greatest pride in?" And she told me, and she said, "What about you?" And I said, "One of the things I take the greatest pride in is that I'm a black belt. That's how I identify myself. A lot of people say that they're an athlete. A lot of people say they're like a carpenter, or a lot of people say that they're a musician. I identify as myself as a black belt first and foremost, and there's nothing in this world that I love more than being a black belt. I mean, again, other than friends and family, putting the people in your life aside, that's what I love. So Jason definitely did that for me, and he sprinkled on top of it what it means to be a leader, along with Picard, and what it means to have honor, along with Dinobot. But the character really pushed me in that direction, and I would definitely be taking karate today, if not for him. But if it was, I mean, it would have been a slower progression. I started karate a lot younger and a lot quicker, and I was a lot more motivated because of what this character brought to the table. And I didn't even realize that when I was younger. But now I look back on it, I think, geez, the Red Ranger really did that for me. Power Rangers really did that for me. But most importantly was the Red Ranger. So that is what Jason gave to me. Silly, maybe, but I can't deny the fact that I am where I am now because of him. I mean, 20 years later, I'm still saying it's morphin' time. I turned the volume off on this. But yeah, that's what Jason has given to me. As for the character, uh, Jason is just awesome. And what I mean with that is Jason is undeniably, to me, the best Power Ranger there is, the best leader there was. First of all, the Red Ranger costume design was great. The red looked good on him. Uh, Austin St. John, who played Jason, was a great looking character, fit character, big character. So you can definitely tell he takes up the dominant role as the leader, and also a position as the best fighter of the group. Jason's the only person that defeated Tommy, and don't give me all those crying things out there, you Tommy fans. Jason beat Tommy. Jason is better. In addition to that, like I said, Jason was one of the best leaders there was, if not the best. When Tommy took over, shit went and hit the fan. The Thunder Zords were destroyed, the coins were cracked, the Ninja coins were destroyed. Lord Zed and Reader kind of started taking over everything. I mean, it wasn't until Jason came back as the Gold Ranger that they started to get an extra bit of footing. But I'm not going to touch that Tommy versus Jason argument. Jason's just, I think, the best Ranger, and he has so much to him. And what I really particularly loved is in a TV show that really had very little character development across the board, Austin St. John took that character and did what he could with it. He probably said in his mind, well, Jesus is a kid character. I'll just do the best I can with it. The character has a lot of emotion and reacts perfectly. Like when Jason is frustrated on who the Green Ranger is, you see that. When he is challenging the Green Ranger or challenging Goldar in a fight, you can see that emotion. When Jason is, sad that all his friends have been taken away by Zed into the Dark Dimension, that he feels as though he's failed everyone, including Tommy, you feel that. So Austin St. John definitely put a fantastic amount of emotion into that character, and it kind of felt natural, even though it felt campy or cheesy. Um, the Red Ranger definitely influenced my life in a really great way, and really great character. So that is number 4. Coming to the top 3, who's it going to be? Well, number 3 is none other than number 3 is none other than Wonder Woman from DC Comics. Wonder Woman is, oh my, I can't even begin how much I love this character. What Wonder Woman has given me, I like to think Wonder Woman has a lot of the same thought pattern as I do, or it's kind of given me a unique thought pattern when it comes down to certain things. Wonder Woman is a diplomat but a warrior at the same time. One of the things that karate teaches you, or martial arts teaches you, is a battle that's best won is a battle that's never fought. Wonder Woman is like that. She's all about, you know, finding a diplomatic solution before ever raising a sword against an enemy or raising a hand against an enemy. I don't know why I said sword. Probably because she carries swords. But Wonder Woman is very much a agent of peace as she is an agent of war. So I think that's a very unique dichotomy with her. Wonder Woman is a very compassionate, loving, and forgiving person, which is something that I always strive to be. In addition to that, Wonder Woman always is an agent of truth and telling the truth. And I think being able to always tell the truth is a very valuable thing because it's something that you can never gain. It's only something that you can lose, is have that ability to always tell the truth. And there's so much lying in the world. And it would be great not to lie. But Wonder Woman is just a character that you look up to. In every facet of the character, you are inspired by her, or at least I'm inspired by her. And what I find very unique about Wonder Woman as a character is, as you see on the list, this list is predominantly a male character list. Wonder Woman breaks that mold, and she is a female character on my list, and I think it's very easy for people to be attracted and to love characters that they can relate to. And in gender roles, I think that's very much the case. And I think female females tend to be attracted to female characters. Male characters tend to be attracted to male characters. Now, that's not to say that's not no gray area in there. It's not to say there aren't people out there that are males that love female characters, or vice versa. There's females that love male characters. Actually, I think it's easier for women to love male characters than it is for men to love female characters. And there is no denying that. It's hard for men to love female characters. What Wonder Woman has done to me is that she's kind of broken that sense or mindset in my head, is that there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with loving those female characters and looking up to them and being inspired by them. You know, one of the things a fan said to me is, "You wear a lot." I hate saying fan because you guys aren't fans. You guys are fellow comic book geeks. One of you guys said to me, "Andrew, I see a lot of you wearing Batman and Superman and Green Lantern shirts, but where's your Wonder Woman shirt?" And I said to myself afterwards, that's true. I don't. She's my second favorite comic book character of all time, and I don't have a Wonder Woman shirt. She's kind of broken that mold for me. I wear a Wonder Woman shirt with pride because she's such a fantastic character, and what she stands for is inspiration enough for me because I am so heavily inspired by that character. She's just awesome. She's a wonder. And I sit there sometimes and I think about the character and I think about how much she has influenced my life, not only with the stories that I enjoy reading with her, but also with how, if I could meet her if there was one comic book character I could meet, it would be Wonder Woman. As much as Batman's my favorite comic book character, as much as Superman is fucking Superman, I'd meet Wonder Woman. I would just sit there and I would want to talk to her and try to learn from her because she's such an inspiration. She is what the human race should be when it comes down to truthfulness and honestness and how to think and how to act and how to kind of view the world as the utmost potential of good. And that's one thing she sees, utmost potential for good. It's a fantastic, beautiful thing. You think about it. As for things about the character I love, other than all that stuff I just said, Wonder Woman is one of the greatest warriors of all time. In hand-to-hand combat and sword play and spear play and all these different kinds of form of combat, Wonder Woman is just not a person you fuck with. Not at all. She will kick your ass in so many different ways in about 2 seconds, you won't even know you had an ass. That's how badass she is. So much ass going on here. But Wonder Woman, she's such a strong character, and I think that's what attracts me to her is how strong she is and how badass she is. She takes shit from no one, and I think that's a really good thing. You know, Batman can come up and start pontificating to people, and most of the people take it, especially Superman. Wonder Woman would go like, seriously, dude, she'll do that to everyone. She will not take shit from anyone, and that's the kind of cool quality to have. The concept and design for the character, although the character has that bikini superhero look to her, this a certain sense of elegance and regalness that comes with it, and particularly with the new 52 costume that Wonder Woman has. The only skin you really see is the legs and the arms, and Wonder Woman actually covers herself up better than most male wrestlers. So I think her costume is very well designed and is very cool, and I really do love the look of the character. And in addition to that, the character is rooted in Greek mythology, which is undeniably some of the best source material that you can pluck from for a character. So that's another thing that's great about Wonder Woman is just the source material that she comes from, the Greek mythology. But I really do love Wonder Woman as a character, and she's a character that I started off not giving two lickings about. And since I opened my heart and opened my world to her, I fell in love with her. So, as a character, not like I'm secretly in love with Wonder Woman. No, I only love one woman, and I'm married to her. But I fell in love with the character, and I support her 100%. And the way that the character has affected my life and wanting to be a better person to step above those pettinessness that you can have is a beautiful thing. So that's number three. Coming in at number two on my top heroes of all time. Number two is none other than Link from the Legend of Zelda video game series. This is the Figma Link figure right here, which is undeniably one of my favorite figures of all time. But if I had to pull out a game show, Skyward Sword. And the reason why showing so much of Skyward Sword is, in particular, the Skyward Sword Link, but Link in general. But my favorite Link is the Skyward Sword Link. I'll get into that when I go into what I love about the character. But how Link has influenced me, it's kind of unique because you have to think this is a character that doesn't even talk. How does this character influence a full grown man at the age of 26, soon to be 27 next month? Yeah, I know I'm getting old. Whew, scary. How does Link influence this individual? And I think it's more in the actions Link takes and how Link presents himself. Link almost always starts off, with the exception of Skyward Sword, almost always starts off his adventure as a naive young boy. Skyward Sword, he a naive young boy with no training in the world at all. In Skyward Sword, he's in the Knight Academy, so he's at least skilled at fighting. Um, and he's also an adult at age 19, I believe. But Link starts off his journey as this young, naive boy and grows and never gives up and grows into this hero, this champion, the only one that saves the world from darkness. And that's an amazing story in of itself. A nobody becomes a somebody. And something I said there is what Link teaches me. Link teaches me never to give up. Ever. No matter how much the odds are stacked against you, never give up. Now, you can say that about any hero. That's like a quality of all heroes. Come on, they all never give up. Except for if you're John Constantine, then you give up a lot because that's your thing. But all heroes never give up. Yeah, that's true. But I feel it more with Link than most others. Because this is really a guy that gets pulled into this tremendous, earth-shattering events each and every single time. He doesn't even think twice about it. He has courage, he never gives up, and he faces his motherfucking fears. He faces his fears. And that's a quality that I like to think that I've been trying to adapt into myself. Try by fire. Face your fears. Everyone has fears. There's no denying that. There's no escaping that fact. But the ability to face those fears, those abilities to overcome those fears, absolutely shitting your pants while doing it, but the ability to do that is a fantastic ability, and that's something that Link has, is that he overcomes his fears. He goes from being a nobody to fighting demon gods, and he's very humble about it. So I think that's the quality that Link has influenced my life the most, but he just never gives up. He always thinks outside the box. I mean, Link he's a puzzler. He thinks outside his box. He's a problem solver. That's another thing that I like to think that I get from him, is that I'm a problem solver. No matter what position I'm put into, if there's a problem, I will find a solution to it. I will work my ass off to find a solution to it. Whether I have to think inside or outside the box, whether I have to do something different or do something the same, doesn't matter. So that's the unique quality I get from Link. Now, there's so many links. There's at least, I think, 11, 12. I think we just hit 12 with Link Between Worlds. I have to do the math out. Which is my favorite, and like I said, my favorite is none other than the Skyward Sword Link, which is chronologically the first Link in the timeline, but is one of the latest Links in the games, because Skyward Sword came out in 2011. Skyward Sword is my favorite game of all time, and there's many reasons why I love Skyward Sword. I'm not going to get into the game itself, but the reason why I like this particular Link more than others is, well, conceptually, design-wise, he just looks better than most of the rest. Being an adult, he has a great look to him. He has a master sword, that the tunic and everything works well for him, and he's very practical looking. I wish he did have the arm guards that was in Twilight Princess, but besides that, I mean, the character looks good, and he doesn't look angsty in his look. He looks normal. He looks like, well, as normal as anime characters can look. Um, but I think this Link in particular goes through probably the most daunting and tremendous of all the adventures. He goes up against the most powerful villain all of um, Zelda too. He goes up against Demise. It's not like he goes up against Ganon or if he goes up against Zant or any of the others. He goes up against Demise, the pinnacle of evil. And his story is just a great one. There's love, there's adventure, there's overcoming all these obstacles, and more so than I think in most Zelda games. So look wise and personality wise too, this Link has probably the most personality. You get a character that can't speak. He didn't even say hi. His facial expressions alone portray such personality that you get such a sense of this character. Just because someone can't speak doesn't mean they don't have character. Ask anyone who is mute. I mean, it doesn't take away on who they are. So, I love the Skyward Sword Link in particular. He is my favorite of the Links. And Link is my second favorite hero of all time. Maybe not as inspirational as, say, Wonder Woman, because I just kind of poured my heart out to Wonder Woman. But definitely it just look, the Master Sword is my favorite looking weapon of all time. Look at that. That is a beautiful sword. The character is just awesome, and a very big contributing factor why Zelda is my favorite game series of all time. Moving on to number one. Was it ever a secret that number one was going to be none other than the Batman? I'm using this as a visual aid because this is my favorite drawing of Batman. And Scott Snyder's signature on there, and he so promptly puts on the bat. Um, it's done by my favorite artist, Jim Lee, and it's my favorite cover, and it just looks really awesome. Issue number 2 of the New 52 with the variant. Um, Batman, he's the start of them all. He's my favorite superhero of all time, and he's my first superhero that I fell in love with. And there's just so much about Batman that I can get to how he's affected, not infected. Well, you could say he's infected my life, but how he's affected my life and how he's changed me and how much I love this character. There's not enough hours in the day for me to do that. I could spend a week just sitting here talking about the things I love about Batman. That's pretty scary. That's like, Andrew, you should probably go seek help kind of scary. But I don't want help. The only help I want is from the Bat himself. So, how has the Batman inspired me? Well, first and foremost, is Batman is the pinnacle of human achievement. He doesn't have power. In a world where gods are flying around and aliens are shooting out lasers out of his eyes, Batman is able to stand toe and toe with them and show that this is the most important thing you can have, your brain. To train your body, to train your mind, to train who you are. That's the most important thing. And Batman shows that. And that's a fantastic quality that the Batman has. And I love it. Is the fact that he is the pinnacle of human achievement. You can strive as much as you can, and you can become that. I mean, it's pretty extreme, but you can become that. Um, Always being so smart and so intellectual, and really the Batman is probably the most kindest and compassionate of all superheroes. He doesn't kill at all. That's a fantastic rule. Never kills. And there is no other superhero you can say has followed that rule as strictly as Batman. Superman has killed. Wonder Woman has killed. I mean, Spider-Man has killed in some way, shape, or form. Everyone has killed except for the Batman. Especially in the New 52 where they scrub all those gray areas out, like mind control and stuff. But Batman doesn't kill. What an amazing, strict code of honor and compassion to his fellow man. He will go out of his way to save murderers if that means he can save a life. Batman is a master martial artist, and as much as Jason's inspired me to be a martial artist, so has Batman. He's a detective, he's a thinker, he's someone that, tries to solve those problems, similar to Link. He has a strong sense of justice. I mean, there's everything about Batman that I love. I can't even go into it. Like every time that I think that I can better myself is because I've got that from Batman. The character has such a great look to him, one of the best costumes of all time. Um, some fantastic stories. I love the Batman, and he's influenced and changed my life more than was any fictional character, and more than some of the main people in my life. I mean, Batman is that just amazing of an individual. It's kind of scary and kind of amazing and beautiful all at the same time. I mean, and there's going to be a documentary coming out called Legend of the Knights. I listened to Fat Man on Batman, and that's one of the things that got brought up. And look this up. Look up the trailer for it, because it'll make you cry just looking at this shit. Like how Batman influenced people and how Batman can be a source of strength. I mean, this is a character that DC Comics used to make money, but he transcends that. He is a fantastic source of inspiration. If I could, I would want to be Batman, minus the whole social screwed upness and parents getting shot stuff. That you can put aside, but physically, mentally, I mean, the Batman's got it all. He's the best martial artist, the best thinker, the smartest man in the world's greatest detective. There is nothing, no situation that he can not handle, and that's something that I inspired to be like. So, number one, without a doubt, the Batman. Like I said, I can go on and on about this, and Batman will be inspiring me till the end of my days. He will always be part of my life. So that's my number one. And I know how they say you go. Every man thinks about sex every 10 seconds. I think about Batman every 10 seconds. I love this character. I love what he's done for my life, and I love the person that I've become because of it. Now that's something that you can't put aside. I've read everything there is about Batman. I've seen all the stuff that there is about Batman. Batman is just amazing. So those are my top favorite heroes of all time. They have inspired me, they have made me grown, they have changed me as an individual, and they showed me that no matter what, there's always more that you can learn. There's more you can be. And maybe I look into a little bit more than other people on what heroes are supposed to be. That's just me. But as always, I'm curious to hear what your top favorite heroes in all fictional history is. You can post it down below, or you can do your own video response, whatever the case may be. I need to learn how to improve video response. If someone can tell me how to do that, that would be fantastic. But um, yeah, I would like to hear from you guys too. So, uh, fantastic character, fantastic heroes, and always trying to get better in life. So, with that said, I'm going to end this video here. This is Andrew saying, peace out for now.